Hello and welcome back to the AI series, which has been on hold for some time now. The reason for this is because I've had other videos to do, but now we're here. AI1 was made back some time ago. I think it was November time last year, actually, because that's when because I remember doing the video when the Magic Box catalogue came out that had first look at Neon Power and T-Rex's colour rush in it, and they're out now, which means it was some time ago. I think it was like November, like I said, so it was some time ago. However, we are here now with AI2, and we're continuing down the list of. I've made my own list of the things I want to tell the AI. Excuse me, and just to recap, the AI is on better.character.ai. You know, the one with all the censoring problems and the stuff that's all weird because it's all. You can't just dictate what an AI does every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds of your life because it's busy making responses. Ooh, look at me, I'm a anyway. So I've got a list of names. I think they're official Sentai names, official Power Rangers names. I think my own names, like I said, and I think some parody ones as well, parody my own names, because for some reason I'm really good at doing that. Also, earlier today, I actually managed to watch through, I managed to sort out Spotlight episodes, because in the playlist I had Spotlight episodes, there were some duplicated ones, there were duplicates. So I sorted them out. The 52 episodes I'll split a lot on the playlist now, and I will be editing them, or rather doing a best ofs format for Dailymotion later on. I don't know, I think it's, I've got a schedule thing where I try to do like, a best of video on Sundays. This hasn't happened a lot, but I think it's happening more and more when I get around to it. As in, I'll try to do I'll try to do a best of video every Sunday. I think if there's going to be any best of videos tomorrow, which happens to be a Sunday, I think I'll do two actually, because I think YouTube best of is a kind of like inevitable situation. But because of Split a Lot being completed, I might as well do Split as well, since, well, they're both as funny as each other, I think, in my opinion. And I also think it'd be a waste not to do it. Except for Split a Lot, I think I might do 3 or 4 episodes in a single thing, since seeing as they're only like 23 minutes an episode, plus I think there's only like 3 or 4 really funny bits and I want to put in the video, so I might just be able to get away with like a 4 episode complete montage, and then might you know, instead of doing 52 videos, might do like 10 or so, or 8 with like a compilation of different episodes. I mean, I'm not really a fan of doing I'm not a fan of starting a video series knowing from the start it's going to contain more than like 10 episodes, because it just seems like such a daunting task to go through, because there's like a load of videos on your list. Anyway, enough this forward planning nonsense. I want the AI stuff, so I've put them here, and I think on this list it goes from Go Ranger to Diamond, because before it was a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was a simple seven like teen list. This has been changed actually, because I figured out halfway through that it would take way too long to make too many videos. Splitting them per 7 ideas would take too long for a thing to. Hang on, have I done this before? I'm now starting to consider. No, I think I'm going insane. I do not think I've actually done. I'm having a bit. It's the Mandela effect. I think I've done this before on video, but I haven't, because I know I haven't, because it's on the flipping list. Plus, there's only one. I'm going insane. Anyway, I decided that 7 responses per video was going to make the series way too long, so I think within 3, I think it was 3 or 4, decided to do a lot more than just 7. So expect this 7 response format to quickly go out the window, as on the 3rd video for AI, which is coming tomorrow if I remember. That will also feature a lot more than just 7. I think it'll feature about 10 or 11 responses. Haven't really counted them. Anyway, on we go. Also, Don Brothers finishes tomorrow on the Sunday. However, I won't see the episode English subdivision until Monday. It's very exciting. Next week, of course, Osama Sentai King Oja starts. I will be watching that when it comes out because it looks like a good series. Plus, I watch any other new Sentai that comes out. It's like how everyone watches any new Kamen Rider that comes out. And yes, for the record, King Oja and my own version, which is called Creature Drive, is of course included with these names. Don't ask me why I gave them my own names. I just felt like the right thing to do. Also, that's been going on for some time. Anyway, first response is for Himitsu Sentai Goranger. Dum 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 Dariga. I can't remember the lyrics. I apologise to every Sentai fan out there, including Aka Red, and maybe I'll apologise to Akiba Red as well. I think I need to make a return. Imagine if Akiba Red got stuck in a room with Wagon, eh? Let's not go down that road. Himitsu Sentai Akiba Ranger. No, Himitsu Sentai Akiba. No, Himitsu Sentai Goranger. Himitsu Sentai Akiba. It's like on a Dero where they get confused. Like when they get thrown into the ceiling room and they've got no idea what they're supposed to be doing. And it takes them like 5 minutes to figure it out. Right, it says, "Oh, great guest! I'll bet on the Sentai warriors. They appear to be larger and have armour that gives them more protection. They also appear to be trained to fight. However, I can also see how the robots could be very effective against such human opponents." Right, so, firstly, larger. Gorangers have got no armour on as far as I know, unless their suits turned out to be made of steel or something. Trained to fight, fair enough. And also, the Gorangers have no robots, but don't forget this is an AI we're dealing with. This is why I started to do this in the first place, because as I learned from the OG Reddit post that inspired me to do this series, I realised that AI isn't perfect and it would come out with this load of responses I could point and laugh at for this video. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. Hooray! Anyway, Goranger doesn't have any robots. They have some vehicles though. I think the robot train won't start until Battle Fever, because I think that's because of Marvel. I know it's confusing. Anyway, we've got Jaka. Dengeki Tai! Don Bulastar! Jaka is a powerful foe for the Sentai warriors. He is powerful, has his 4 arms to deal blows, and can become more powerful by combining with his brothers. However, I don't see any armour on Jaka to defend himself against the blows of the Sentai warriors. What say you, guest? Right, so there's a few signs here that this AI could be cleverer than we first saw, because if you know your Jaka, if you know your Sentai, you'll know that Jaka originally starts out with 4 members. Spade Ace, Diamond Jack, Clover King, and Heart Queen, hence Jaka, which is Jack, Ace, King, and Queen. Later acquires Big One as the leader of Jaka, but that's halfway through. However, by the AI's response here, the 4 arms, that's accurate. It's got the number right at least. And the 4 brothers bit is correct as well, even though, you know, Hot Queen is a female, so but that's like a thing. They're not gonna know that. So anyway, that's actually surprisingly accurate. You know, 4 brothers, 4 arms. You know, for everything, including 4 me's. Hello. Then we've got Battle Fever J. Good pick, guest. This is a tough opponent for the Sentai warriors. He is a skilled warrior. Can use the force to defend and attack, has armour, and appears to have some advanced weapons. However, he is also very large, and will be vulnerable to the blades of the warriors. His legs are also exposed, and he cannot move as fast as it seems. Right, so I don't know if this implies that this knows about the first appearance of a giant mecha in Battle Fever J, as I just said. Battle Fever is the first series they used a giant robot in, which was Battle Fever Robot, I think. Skilled warrior, legs, armor. Okay, the force. Can use the force. That's a Star Wars thing. Unless this is getting Sentai confused with Star Wars, how do you do that? sort of got weird looking bad guys like Darth Maul, Darth Vader, and Darth Sidious, or Darth Hideous, as you might want to call him. Then we've got Denshi Sentai Denziman, a powerful battle guest. He is also a skilled warrior and can use some of the same techniques as the Sentai warriors. However, it appears to be even less armoured, and I don't see any force magic or advanced technology being used by his side. The Sentai warriors have too many battle advantages. Nothing I can say here, it's just like a generic response. Then we've got Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan. Guest! I think this is my favourite you've named yet! Sun Vulcan is an incredible fighter, has some armour and can defend with force field. He also has some great weapons that can fire and do a ton of damage. However, the force field appears thin and does not cover every part of his body. He may also be overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of Sentai warriors. They will attack so many at once that the Vulcan will be overwhelmed. First of all, a shield with gaps in the horror! Second of all, it appears that the AI thinks that all these Sentai teams are like literally just one person. But again, I'm fine with that. Appears sin, force appears sin, okay. Okay, so again, that's it. And then of course we have the next, which is Dai Sentai Goggle 5. Wow, guest, you are just blowing my mind. Goggle is an amazing warrior. He is armed and armoured, can fly, has great laser guns, and his laser sword is an impressive weapon. He also has some great strength and durability, so he will definitely be hard to defeat. And he can fight both from a distance and up close. However, he has no protection from the blades, and the Sentai warriors will overwhelm him with numbers. So the first thing is Goggle. Goggle 5. Literally just a pair of goggles. Can you imagine that? sounds like YTP. Goggle the Sentai. Also laser guns, isn't that Sonic X's way of saying, "Ooh look, things bang bang shooty bullet guns"? And I was gonna say, well, didn't Goggle 5 also have laser swords, until I realised that was Bioman, so ignore that comment from me. And the last one we have here is Kagak Sentai Dynaman Blackouts. I'm not going to insert the explosion reference name thing here because that's a way too easy joke. Well, Kagak Sentai Dynaman literally have the power to call on lightning. They can control the winds and cause two tsunamis. They also have special suits that allow them to shoot laser beams. And they have incredible technology. Right, so even though lightning does cause fires, no. Dynamite isn't lightning. I'm surprised it didn't detect Dyna from Dynaman, because Dynamite, I'm just confused. Control the winds and cause two tsunamis. If this was real, then that mean that Dynamite would literally be just destroying their own attack methods. It's like, oh, I don't know, it's like Bowser just breathing water. That's not a threat at all. I think that's it, actually. So yeah. Also, Dynaman being called Dynaman is a simple is another example of having an idea that doesn't work, and then just going with generic. Which, to be fair, it wasn't generic at the time, but if they pulled this stuff now, the Japanese people and the American people and me wouldn't be happy. So look at they haven't done that. In case you're wondering what I'm saying, here's an example. Here's both examples, right? They've got the same like method. Basically, you take an idea that doesn't really that you have in your head, and then the idea doesn't work, and then you change it at the last second, and then it doesn't go quite right. Basically, Dynaman was supposed to be a series called Yaku Sentai. I think I'm saying that correctly, Yaku Sentai V Liga, which was a baseball-themed Sentai team. Now, somewhere down the line, I think some Toei corporate person said, oh no, how is this going to work? because I'm not even sure if toys would have sold actually, unless they kind of just made it look shiny and weird. And so they saw, oh look, this won't sell, and then they changed it to Dynaman, which at the time was a very good idea, because I don't think explosions were heavily too used in Sentai at the time. And then the other example of this kind of situation happening was at Alton Towers. In the year 2011, they had no ride installed. Apart from a really small addition in the Sea Life Aquarium to do with the Japanese spider crabs inside the old 13 tanks, which were in use in 2010 when 13 opened. Anyway, in 2011, apparently there were some plans to re-seam the old McDonald's Farmyard and Storybook Land out of the areas of the park, which is now CBeebies Land. They were supposed to re-seam that to Shrek. I think just Shrek, actually, not DreamWorks as a whole, just Shrek, and it would have included like a 4D cinema, and I think this plan would have worked had not DreamWorks pulled out of the deal. I think it might have been DreamWorks, I can't remember. Someone, I don't know if it's DreamWorks, they pulled out of the deal, and then that's why there was no new stuff for 2011, because they pulled out the deal, nothing happened, a lot of wrong stuff going on behind the scenes, backstage, and that's why it was basically just bare bones for 2011. They did kind of resolve the empty gaps in space, because 1 year later, in 2012, they added the Ice Age 4D cinema, which kind of solved the whole, 4D cinema thing that they would have done for Shrek. So 4D cinema alongside Nemesis of Terror, excuse me. And they also managed to re-seam Moment of Farmyard and Storybook Land with CBeebies Land in 2014. So it was all done within a few years, and I kind of have to give them some credit for managing to sort the old plans out quickly. Like, they found a resolution for their old plans just within the span of a couple of years. While also managing to somehow handle the SW situation, with the Smiler and stuff. So they did sort it out in the end, and they did do a good job. Although I'm now officially starting to imagine what it would have been like if they had Shrek there. Great. I really do not want Ogre to look at me. Also, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant about theme parks now, but also at Drayton Manor, apparently there's a new water ride for Thomasland being built. I will be able to predict what the ride would be themed, what specific character it's supposed to be themed to, but I'm not really that much of a Thomas nerd, so I don't really know. Also, at Chessington, they're doing the world of Jumanji. That's set to look good with Manjor Mayhem and all that. The coaster they've got going. They're doing tests for the coaster apparently, and everything appears to be going fine. As for the Retro Squad ride at Alton Towers being added into the park this year as it seems to replace Roller Disco in Dark Forest. If it's true that the ride is going to be one of them, I'm not too much. I don't really know about rides, flat rides, but it's a ride that very closely matches the name Disco Ring. If it happens to be that ride, then it's going to be an easy guess for the name Disco Ring. However, if the previous ride would have been chosen, which was a Techno Jump, then the name Jump Around matches. So, like I said on my website, the names that were created in the first Retro Squad video, it's entirely situational. They've just got a list of rides that they may or may not want to install in the park, and the list of names are there to be inserted, like fill in the gaps in case they do get a hold of those rides, behind the scenes. So for example, all the names on the board in the first video could have been in use. Well, they are prepared to put them into use, but what they'll do is they'll probably only use like 4 or 5 of the names. For example, Funk and Fly, Roller Disco, and Mixtape. I think they were filling the gaps names as well. So it was just a case of, we'll use this name if we get this ride, we'll use this name if we get that ride. It's basically that's the most simple way I can put it. Basically, if they get a certain ride, they use the certain name and to match them. Basically, if they got the techno jump, they'd use the term jump around. If they got that ride I talked about earlier, they'd use the name disco ring. If they hadn't got spin jam, then the name spin jam probably would have gotten unused. So I'm expecting now that that some of the names on the first board will go unused. Also, depending on how long they plan to keep this whole retro squad ride thing going on for. Now I'm really speculating here, but depending on how they go with all this, they could be going until all the names on the board in the first video are used up. As for the names on the second board in the spin jam video, no, they don't sound like proper ride names to me. They sound more like Transformers with like names like Accello Strike and Velocimaster. They don't really sound like real theme park ride names. They don't really match what we see in the first video. Like Velocimaster next to because they sound like more Transformers names in the second video. The first video has actually got ride names that sound like they'd actually be names of a ride, like Jump Around and Disco Ring. Although to be completely frank, I'm not even sure if they'll actually be able to use the name Helter Melter as unless it's a ride that works. But like I said, I don't really know my flat rides very well. But yeah, it's entirely situational as to what ride names they will use, completely dependent on what rides they get from these theme park things and these fairground things. So, for example, I've already explained that. Just take Shrink and Gold and end the video.